Good morning. Good morning. It's very exciting to be with the Daring Abroad team. This is my second time to be with you. Last year we had a fantastic event where we spoke about the Diaspora policy, which our colleague from IOM has alluded to. So this year we are talking about remittances, and we're happy to be part and parcel of this very interesting interaction. And I think the networking, just an opportunity to see other people who have dared abroad is a wonderful thing. And I'm excited to have somebody who was deported to greatness, because we do have a stigma about deportation. So it's interesting to have somebody who can actually speak about that. Allow me to apologize on behalf of my peers. Once again, Roslyn Jogu, she really wanted to be here, but she couldn't be here because, as was explained, she had other pressing engagements which she had to attend to. I am a returnee. I first went to the US with a green card in 1987. My sister lived in the US and she got me a green card. And she lived in a small town called Kingsport in Tennessee. We stayed August, September, October, November. It started getting cold. It started getting dark. Then they had something called Halloween and Thanksgiving, and we woke up one morning and our tree was decorated with tissue paper, and I decided I wanted the sunshine, and I had had enough, and I came back. So I congratulate everybody who dared abroad and stayed. But apart from that, I have lived in South Africa, I have lived in and worked in South Africa, I have lived and worked in the US at some point, I have lived and worked in France, and so yes, I'm back in Kenya, so I have some experience living abroad, and it's an exciting experience. Allow me to just read what I was given by my PS, because I think she had a certain message that she wanted to pass. Allow me to read it. Our host, Mr. Alex Chamwada, distinguished guests, our beloved diaspora colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Hamjambo. It is indeed an honor to be here this morning to celebrate our brothers and sisters who dared to dream, dared to go abroad to live, work and study, build family, and ultimately dared to return back home. Thank you, Mr. Chamwada and your team for organizing this event and for the very reflective theme of Beyond Remittances. Last year, I think we spoke about remittances, and we were saying that we not only want your remittances, we want your welfare to be taken care of as well. So Beyond Remittances is a very apt theme that you have taken, which is key to demystifying how we look at our diaspora beyond what they send home. We always appreciate the generosity of the diaspora who work tirelessly abroad and dutifully remit funds home to support their families, set up or boost businesses and investments, or send us savings. But today, we recognize their sacrifices of toiling in foreign land and having the courage to come back home with the knowledge, skills and technology transfer, as well as networks that help us drive the social economic development of our country. Professor Njoroge has given us a very, very good example of what we can do when we come together as the diaspora. Asanteni sana for you're never forgetting your motherland, your home, your people. Ladies and gentlemen, our topic for today, Beyond Remittances, working with diaspora returnees to actualize Kenya's strategic visions, is quite timely and necessary. This is because Kenya's strategic vision, as outlined in policies like the Vision 2030, the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and the Kenya Diaspora Policy of 2024. And if you do not have this policy document, please read it, because we think we did a very good job. It was a collaborative exercise. We had the diaspora contributing and telling us to remove portions, to add portions to it. So it is a document that speaks to the diaspora. We believe it speaks to the diaspora. It focuses heavily on engaging diaspora returnees, not just for financial remittances, but also for their skills, knowledge transfer, innovation, global networks, and expertise to drive national development. As government, we're implementing strategies for working with the diaspora returnees to actualize Kenya's strategic vision, including when our diaspora return, they bring valuable international experience, skills, and knowledge, which are critical for various sectors of our economy, including professional roles, whereas government will continue to encourage them to take up leadership and professional roles in both public and private sectors, technology and innovation. The government aims to partner with the diaspora to enhance technology, knowledge and skills transfer for research, investments and innovation. Mentorship. Returnees offer mentorship to students and professionals in Kenya, either online or in person, providing guidance on career paths and industry standards. And we do welcome any returnee or the diaspora abroad who wants to speak to a certain group of people in Kenya. We can organize. We do have a lot of online sessions as the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. Investments in key economic sectors beyond consumption-based remittances, and I think we were given the figures how we send out so much more because we do not have manufacturing and our industries, most of them are closing. Okay. So beyond consumption-based remittances, the government has established mechanisms to channel diaspora investments into productive and high-impact ventures aligned with national priorities. I think a lot of us are aware that the money that is sent back home, a lot of us call it the black tax. It goes to school fees. When somebody has died, you have to buy the coffin and the food. For those of us from Western, we love eating at funerals, so that money goes there. When somebody is indisposed for one reason or another, they have a court case, you have to give money for that. And so a lot of the money is really being consumed. In 2023, we had a diaspora investment conference where we were showcasing alternative investment opportunities. And you know, our diaspora really love brick and mortar. For us, when you've invested, uko na kamugoda mahali and uko na kanyopa somewhere, brick and mortar, that is the essence of investment. But there's a lot more to investment than just brick and mortar, you know. And a lot of us, if you're Stanley and Louisa, the investment is called Stanlu. And so people know that you've invested in that particular area. But a lot of people don't want for people to know how you have invested and where you have invested. So they are silent investments. And the Diaspora Investment Support Office, the DISO, has been established. And this agency coordinates and guides diaspora investments, helping streamline the process and to remove bureaucratic processes. Targeted investment opportunities. This is where government is packaging viable investment opportunities in sectors like the affordable housing program, agribusiness and related value chains, diaspora bonds, the technology through PPP, encouraging returnees to invest in line with Vision 2030 economic pillars. And you know, last year we were encouraging the diaspora, and we are still encouraging the diaspora, to look at counties as an option. The counties offer a particular investment vehicle that is not offered by the national government. And so if you're from Nyandarua is sadly well known for pouring out their milk, giving their cabbage to the cows and carrots, and basically their potatoes rot because the roads are not done. So we've been encouraging the diaspora that cottage industries work very well. If we are looking at storage facility for potatoes, if we are looking at turning cabbage into kimchi, kimchi is a very valuable food, and we have a lot of cabbage. We can actually invest in other value addition to what we already have. So fostering entrepreneurship and job creation under financial instruments as an investment vehicle, we have specific financial products like government security T-bills and T-bonds, which are available remotely through CBKs. The CBK is the Central Bank of Kenya's DAO CSD to facilitate investment in national initiatives. In fostering job creation, we are looking at diaspora returnees establishing ventures like what Professor Njoroge has that will create jobs and stimulate local economic development, particularly in areas such as education, healthcare, and trade. Networking, government facilities, networking events, and business matchmaking programs to connect diaspora investors with local entrepreneurs. And not just government. I think this particular opportunity we have today, Champs has done very well in having a lot of the partners are outside. As I was walking in, I got a bit distracted. I walked through several of the booths, And I was quite impressed by what is there. So please take time to also look at the booths, because there are investment opportunities there and avenues which are not necessarily government. Integration and reintegration mechanisms. To address challenges faced by returnees, the government has planned support systems such as reintegration programs as envisioned in the Kenya Diaspora Policy 2024. And I will request at some point my colleagues will give us the link to the Diaspora Policy, and we'll be able to put it there, then you can scan and be able to have the Diaspora Policy with you. Transferability of social benefits, where the government, we are developing frameworks together with like-minded governments for the transferability and portability of social security benefits from other countries. So some of you might wonder, what is this? We know that a lot of our diaspora who went just post-independence are now ready to come back home for their retirement. But some of them are not able to come back because their social benefits, they cannot port them back to Kenya. And when they port them back to Kenya, the cost of remittances that IOM was talking about is very, very high. And in return, then their mental wellness is affected because they want to come back home and they're not able to come back home. So that the three things that go together, we are trying to see how we can assist the returnees such that they come back, and they come back when they're very enabled and they are comfortable. So we have started conversations with the ILO and the IOM in Geneva so that it becomes a universally accepted practice for returnees across the world to come back with their social benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, on policy formulation and governance, courtesy of the technological advancements, the government continues to include the diaspora in public participation. I hope all of you follow our social media as the State Department for Diaspora, because every time there's any discourse in government, we share a link with the diaspora for them to have their voice. Their input is important, so we always share links. And our social media is diaspora_GOK in all social media. That's our handle. I'm at that age where the word just disappears when I'm in the middle of saying it. So the fact that the diaspora has really participated has helped sensitize and empower the diaspora with information. And once they return home, they're already empowered. They already know what is there and what is happening and how to go about their issues. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, by focusing on these multifaceted approaches, Kenya aims to leverage the extensive human capital of its diaspora to achieve sustainable and inclusive national development, moving beyond a sole reliance on financial contributions. Through the implementation of the diaspora policy, Kenyans abroad and returnees act as valuable ambassadors, promoting Kenya's image, culture, trade, and investment opportunities globally, and the key point for network linkages and skills and technology transfer once back home. Therefore, as we gather here today, let us renew our shared commitment to building a Kenya that works for all, both at home and abroad. Together, we will strengthen the bonds that connect us and harness the power of our diaspora to make Kenya a model of prosperity and global partnership. The PS reaffirms that the government remains focused on the implementation of the Kenya Diaspora Policy provisions for economic transformation, and the State Department for Diaspora Affairs will continue to protect, empower, and connect Kenyans, both in the diaspora and you who are welcome back home to more opportunities. I thank you. Thank you very much.
You can see they're both there, but lots of networking here. Asante.
Thank you so much, Balozi. My name is Michael Inungu from Central Lens University Kenya Semester Program. Whenever we talk about diaspora, the term presupposes a lot of positivity. People who went out there made it, like Professor Jeroge, myself, and others. I'd like you to comment about the untold side of diaspora from the Middle East. Where do they belong in this conversation? Whenever we hear about them, we hear about suffering. We hear about trafficking. Where are we in that conversation? Thank you.
So thank you very much. Our diaspora in the Middle East are squarely in the programs of the State Department of Diaspora Affairs and the government of Kenya as a whole. When you get our diaspora policy document, the very foundation of our policy is the welfare of the diaspora. To us, it doesn't matter. You have gone out there, you've been arrested, you're in jail, you still belong to us. You're still ours. You're still our diaspora. And we will do everything possible to protect you. But to put it into perspective, of these 20, 30 that used to come before the State Department of Diaspora Affairs came in, let me give an example. One particular country which was very common with these issues, as a government official, we are not allowed to name names, but I think we all know which country it is. So this particular country has over 270,000 Kenyans. So in perspective, if you look at the numbers, and then you look at the number of cases, I'm not saying that they should die, but I think nature of and by itself usually offloads some. Nature of and by itself, and I'm not saying it is a good thing. So what we want to avoid is the offloading which is created unnaturally. We don't want anybody to die out of unnatural effects. We don't want anybody to be killed. We don't want anybody to be tortured. And because of that, we come up with what are called MOUs and bilateral labor agreements. What do these give? They give a protective layer, which protects every worker that goes abroad. And I know there's been a lot of confusion regarding how the bilateral labor agreements actually protect the workers, but we have clauses that, for example, talk about the minimum wage. Because a lot of our people who are not given the amount of money they need, they're basically trafficked and they're used as slaves. So we eliminate that because we say the minimum wage is this much and the working hours are this much. So if your employer goes beyond and gives you less than what has been agreed, you have a recourse because there's a clause that talks about it and you can actually leave that employment. We have a clause that talks about if you're being abused, there are those who are sexually abused, there are those who are physically abused, we have a recourse for it. And there are, I don't want to go into details because that's government to government, but there are consequences for that. And that has greatly discouraged the number of cases that we have. I don't know if I've answered your question fully, but yes, we are bang in the middle of it. That is actually my docket. It's the welfare docket. And we do care for each and every individual. And just for you to know, because we do understand also that some of them have been mentally affected, we are the only state department which has a hotline 24 hours. And we also offer counseling services 24/7 on these lines. And the lines, we have like about, I think we have 7 double centers, so that's 14. We can manage 14 calls at any one time on counseling, and we have counselors on board. Also, we offer counseling services to the families, particularly of those who are bereaved. It is not a good experience, so we do offer that counseling service as well.
Hello, Balozi. Good to see you again. You guys are doing a fantastic work. We've had the opportunity to interact, and it's amazing what you guys are doing. My question is two-part. Maybe there isn't an answer, but something to think about, particularly around remittances. We terminate to about 3 million. We have 3 million customers who use remittances to terminate into Kenya. The president has just ascended the virtual assets bill. These customers are asking, how else can we send money back home using virtual assets? Maybe it's not an answer for now. It will move to CBK and CMA, but majority of the disruption is going to happen in remittances. Is it something that you guys have looked at in partnership level, but also in terms of engaging some of these diasporans?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So in our State Department, we have 2 departments. We have welfare and partnerships, which are head, and we have investments, savings, and remittances, which Ambassador Kabira heads. I did not come alone, and I don't want to pretend to be an expert. Any of my colleagues who has an answer to that, or who can speak to that? Is that something we are looking at? Probably not. Probably we have not looked at it because it's just been assented to, and we don't know what the repercussions will be. But what I do know, that the president is very aware of the diaspora remittances and their importance. He's very much aware of our efforts to try and reduce the cost of remittances. He's very much aware of the players in the field, And I doubt anything negative will come out of that ascension. I think I almost not sure about that.